Item 10C is receive oral report and review the status of local emergency related to the truck collision at the San Bruno Senior Center and the continuing declaration of local emergency. There is no resolution. This is just an update. Connie?
Yes, according to the state law, we are required to give you an update every 30 days in order to continue the existence of the emergency condition, but you are not required, as the agenda erroneously suggested, you are not required to adopt subsequent resolutions. So the report for tonight is an update on the status of the demolition and repair of the senior center, which is a very high priority, and we are all anxious to make sure that we can get our senior population back into their facility so that the programs can continue as usual. That said, we have been very grateful to have the cooperation of St. Robert's Church and the school at St. Robert's Church, and those programs are successfully, the lunch program is successfully operating in that location, and we have other programs operating in other remote locations as well as in unaffected areas of this building. So all of that is going well. I want to correct, before I continue with my comments about the status, I want to correct some information that I provided to the City Council at the last meeting in response to a question from a council member, and that was the name of the company that did the initial securing of the building the night of and in the days immediately following the accident that resulted in the truck running into the west side of the building. The name of the company is not the one I told you. It's very similar, but the name of the company is Belfor Restoration Specialists, BELFOR. That company, as I said, is a specialty property restoration company, and that is their business. They have an international presence, and as I told you before, staff is highly pleased, and we have seen the results. We saw the results immediately and continuing of their very capable, good work. At the current time, staff is working with Belfor to complete a contract for Belfor to continue work, which would include the demolition of the damaged portion of the building, which essentially consists of that area around and including the stage at the westernmost portion of the building behind the wall here. Those contracting, it sounds like it should be pretty quick. Hand them the paper, tell them to sign it and return it. Unfortunately, it's not that quick and easy, and Belfor is actively working with us to get all of the required attachment documents, insurance and performance bonds and the like. We expect the completion of that contract to occur within the next couple of weeks, and for us to be able to subsequently begin the demolition work. Demolition work will be followed immediately by environmental remediation of the site. As I reported to you at the last meeting, there is some identified contamination of the site resulting from the accident itself, with some petroleum products having spilled from the truck that ran into the senior center. All in all, we expect within approximately 4 weeks for that work to be completed. The demolition and environmental cleanup will take approximately 2 weeks, and we look forward to having that work done within the next 4 to 5 weeks. And following that work, we will begin. We will complete the design plans. Our structural engineer is currently working with the original building design plans and with our building department to prepare updated plans that are consistent with current building codes. This building is more than 30 years old, built to a standard that no longer exists, and so there is some amount of additional work that we can't just pick up the plans and then go build it again. We need to be cognizant of new building code requirements. So that work is in process right now, and our hope and plan is to follow the demolition and environmental remediation work as quickly as possible. Again, using Belfour as a direct contractor to complete the work associated with rebuilding the senior center. I do not have, at this point, a precise timeline for that subsequent phase of work, but look forward to being able to provide that to you with a subsequent update. The next update, of course, will occur at your August 22nd regularly scheduled City Council meeting. Again, we're running the preparation for the design, the preparation which is the design development. We're running that work concurrently with our contracting and with the planned demo and environmental remediation work in order to expedite, and we look forward to getting our seniors and our programs back into this building as quickly as possible. That said, as we reported to you previously, the relocated facilities, the temporary facilities at St. Robert's Church and at the Portola Performing Arts Center are unfortunately only available until school starts, which is approximately another month from now. And at that point, we expect to have a short relocation to another site. At this point, we're planning to relocate programs into our recreation center, which will not be ideal, but we're working to make that as short as possible in order to facilitate and to try and find the best possible mix of using this room and other locations in order to, again, get our programs back here as quickly as possible. So we'll report to you again on August 22nd and look forward to having some more progress to report at that time.
Okay.
Questions?
Sure. Yes. Marty?
Just a couple questions. So, we don't have a contract now, but they were probably running on like a time and material basis, kind of like a handshake like they did back in the day. Just curious about that, and that hoping that by the 22nd, that when you return, that you can kind of identify the tasks completed and the cost for those tasks, and then that's pretty much it. Just to kind of so we're aware of the cost as we go through this emergency. That would be appreciated.
Yeah, just to restate, I forgot to mention, of course, we're continuing to work with our insurance carrier through ABAG and their excess insurance provider. All costs for the immediate response, the demolition, the environmental remediation, and the restoration of the senior center to its previous condition are being borne by our insurance carrier, and to the extent that they can recover any insurance funds paid from the company whose truck ran into our building, they will do that as well. But there is no out-of-pocket costs by the city for this work.
Richard?
Correct me, and yes, thank you. I think there's a $5,000 deductible, I believe.
So yes, I'm sorry. So no was the wrong answer.
No,
$5,000
but it should,
deductible.
everybody has
That's
a
correct.
deductible and everything we
Yes.
do, but the $5,000 and then ABAG kicks in and then they try to recoup
That's correct.
the monies from the truck. The other thing is St. Robert's, if I'm not mistaken, I think August 23rd may be the last day. I think school starts on the 24th. And so the program would have to be moved, and I know you were suggesting that, an alternative is the rec center, which there used to be a Thursday club there that met every Thursday and did lunches and meals. I remember that. The kitchen obviously is much smaller. It's like a kitchen in a home. And so the food program, I'm just concerned on how we're going to maintain it at the adequate fashion with the attendance. You have the seating capacity, but as far as the preparation and other stuff, so that's given some real consideration, because one of the things that they enjoy, and we are pleased when we go, is just everybody's involved. They're all helping, they're assisting, and it's an important part of their day. So I'm just hoping that we can somehow, even if we've got to order out, or however it's going to be done. And if on the August 22nd meeting, we can maybe find out a timeline of a goal of when they might be back in full capacity at the center. Please.
Certainly, we will give you that information as soon as we have it. At this point, I am not confident that I can provide it on August 22nd, but we will provide that information about the expected full completion of the repairs as soon as we have it. Regarding the lunch program, currently we are utilizing a contract provider to provide pre-prepared lunches, even though there is a kitchen facility at St. Robert's, and I'm anticipating that that would, of necessity, continue. Now, engagement and involvement of our dedicated volunteers remains an absolutely critical part of our ability to deliver the program, and I believe and have understood that they are still being fully utilized, although in a different capacity, not preparing the food per se, but making sure it is received and distributed, and all of the other ancillary tasks, which still are very time-consuming, and their work is very much appreciated.
Okay.
Through the chair, if I could.
Okay.
Are you at liberty to say what is the extent of the damage? I mean, it looks like a hole in the wall. And, I mean, is there some extenuating structural damage to other parts of the building?
Let me
Okay.
chime in there. Just
Okay.
you missed the last meeting. We
Okay.
did take a small tour inside and showed there's
Okay, well, it
extensive structural
wasn't in
damage.
the minutes or anything, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, so I'm going to ask the City Engineer, Public Works Director, if he has any more detailed comments. The damage is limited to the immediate area of the stage and adjacent to the stage. We're in this building tonight because our building official and other experts immediately inspected the building and were able to certify the structural integrity of this portion of the room, and the vast majority of the room behind the wall here remains actually intact. So in that respect, we were very fortunate. But it will be necessary to tear off the complete back wall of the building and to replace the entire stage area and at least a few feet into the room in front of the stage in order to completely repair.
I think the city manager described it really well,
Okay.
so I don't have anything to add.
can you give an update on the revenue generating Thursday night bingo? What's going on with the bingo players? Where are they? I mean, is it just canceled until further notice, or is there any possibility that that can be, picked up somewhere else? And part of that is that possibly part of the damages that insurance might be able to cover, roughly $1,500 per week.
Yeah,
To
so
the
I can
nutrition
answer a couple of those questions, maybe not all of them. The Thursday night bingo is a fundraising activity that is conducted by an independent not-for-profit organization, the Nutrition Site Council. The city has no direct involvement with the operation of that program, and again, it's that not-for-profit organization is fully independent of the city. It's my understanding that there is a strong interest to get back in here as quickly as possible, and we are working with the not-for-profit to see whether literally this space would be sufficient and would adequately accommodate the crowd that they might expect. It would be a substantially smaller space than they have been able to utilize here in the past with their use pretty much of the entire room here. As to whether they are able to locate somewhere else, I do not have that information, and don't know whether they either have looked at other possible locations or whether they might have any positive prospects for that. With regard to recovery of lost fundraising revenue, the answer is no, our insurance does not cover that. Whether they have their own insurance that would cover such a loss, I don't know, but if they did, it's at least possible that they could receive some recovery from their own insurance provider.
Anyone else? We're asking for nothing on this. Thanks for the oral report. We better make this quick before,
We lose the vice
yeah.
mayor.
I think we approved new chairs, I think, during the budget, I believe.
We did.
Right, okay. Okay, everybody sit still, we're almost done.